Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic calendar, then we'll go over some news, and then we'll do our market recap and market analysis. So starting here on the economic calendar, today we did have services PMI for May come in at 54.9 with 55.1 expected. We also got ISM non-manufacturing PMI for May come in at 50.3 with 51.8 expected. Now we can look at some news. So today, the SEC did file a lawsuit against Binance US, and they, on the SEC's post, they put this quote from their compliance officer that says, "We are operating as a fucking unlicensed security exchange in the USA, bro." Like, I don't know, that's just kind of a weird tweet there from the SEC. And then here you can see the price of the Binance coin after the lawsuit was announced, a just massive death candle here, with over $3.7 billion vanishing in about 15 minutes. We also have Apple unveiling its Vision Pro augmented reality and virtual reality headset, priced here at $3,500. And we did have Apple hitting an all-time high today, now up 120,000% since its 1980 IPO price. We also have credit card interest rates now exceeding 20%, which is the highest level we've seen since 1995. We also have Japan Stock Exchange here hitting a 33-year high. And we also have mega cap growth and technology calls hitting the highest level here since 2001. Now we can do our market recap, starting here in the debt market with the U.S. 10-year yield. As you can see, red day today, pretty large wick to the upside, but still just kind of consolidating right here in the upper end of this daily range above that midline. Sitting here red on the week. Looking at the dollar, as you can see, big hammer tail to the downside here on the dollar. Still just sitting in the middle of this upper range here on both the weekly and daily charts. Now we can look at the stock market. As you can see, red day here in the stock market, getting rejected off this upper extreme on the weekly chart and, pulling down into that upper extreme here on the daily chart. Turning to cryptocurrencies, as you can see, big red day here in cryptocurrencies. If you look here at the watch list, as you see, big red days across the board due to that Binance news, because Binance is, like the largest exchange. So if Binance starts getting hit and like customers start like getting hurt, this could have a very negative effect on the cryptocurrency market cap. Just as it's starting to look pretty bullish too, the SEC comes out and screws Americans once again. As you can see, big red day here, getting rejected off that midline and pushing down here through this lower extreme, making new lows here. Getting down through that midline on the weekly chart. XRP, as you can see, big red day here in XRP as well, getting rejected at that upper extreme on the daily chart and wicking down here into that midline. We can actually look at Binance coin. Let me zoom in here. So as you can see on the daily chart, just this massive death candle to the downside. Currently down 10%. Now we can turn to commodities, starting here with oil. As you can see, huge gap up here in oil after all those OPEC cuts. Getting rejected off that upper extreme and pulling down into this midline. Looking at gold, we do have a pretty nice green day here in gold. Still just sitting down here at the lower end of this daily range. Looking at silver, we do have a red day here in silver with a nice wick. Still sitting right here at the lower end of this daily range as well, right below that midline. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start with our volume analysis here on the S&P 500 Spider ETF. As you can see, really low volume day today, with majority selling coming in. Just getting a rejection up here off this upper extreme on the weekly chart and, like pulling down into that upper extreme on the daily. We can look at the 3-minute chart here. So as you can see, we got a slight gap up, and then we did get a lot of volatility in the morning as we did have that 9:45 and 10 o'clock economic data drops. So there was a lot of large volatility here in the morning before pulling down into this lower extreme, finding it as support, getting back above VWAP, and testing yesterday's Friday's highs before getting a breakout here and a push to retest of the previous high of the day, before selling off down to the open, getting rejected at the open, and then making new lows, and then getting a slight recovery here into the close. Again, look at the 15-minute here and the 2-hour charts. As you can see, we did have this kind of broadening wedge channel. We were bearish all day on the MACD, as you see coming here, touching that other line here and then getting rejected to the downside, breaking down through that midline here. But as you can see, getting our breakout here at about 2 o'clock to the downside out of this broadening wedge channel, getting rejected off that lower trend line before getting that sell-off down through that lower extreme. Looking at the 2-hour chart here, as you can see, we're pretty high up here still, but as you see, just pulling back here. We did get a break through this upper trend line here on momentum, but we then did pull back here into the close. Now we can look at the VIX and the NASDAQ. Let me pull up the VIX. I usually have the VIX right here. There we go. Looking at the VIX, as you can see, it did have a gap up here in the VIX, and we did have a gap up in the stock market. So that's definitely something to look to note. But as you can see here on the VIX, we do kind of have this downtrend line on momentum that we kind of almost got rejected at here. But as you can see, getting that gap up and then coming down, basically filling that gap here on the VIX. Still super low on the VIX down here, below 15, which is, the lowest we've been in an extremely long time. Looking at the NASDAQ here, as you can see, still holding above that upper trend line, making a nice push off the open before pulling back into the close, kind of still uptrending here on momentum. Now we can talk about some trades. We can go to our 1 minute and open up our drawings here. So starting here in the open, as you can see that volatility I was talking about, this was some pretty insane volatility. I haven't seen price action like this in quite some time. Off the open, as you can see, all just these crazy wicks. I don't know if my trading view or my thinkorswim was bugging out, or if this was just extremely high volatility due to this economic data and just how extended to the upside the stock market is. But as you can see, it kind of did have this like ascending triangle here with just crazy price action. But I saw this price action and I was just waiting until this shit chilled out. And then as you can see, that economic news that came out about 10 o'clock, this big spike here. But then we did come down and we did have kind of a bear pennant form here, which is a bearish continuation pattern. But as you can see, it was a bullish reversal in this case. Coming up and, running into the open, pulling back here before getting a nice move to retest Friday's highs. Typically, this is a bearish continuation, but we did have upward momentum here with a squeeze to the upside. So, this wasn't in the best place. As you can see, it was right below the open and below the VWAP. But, this was a nice pattern here that you could have taken advantage for a long here once you see this breakout with upward momentum squeeze. And then here from 11 o'clock to 11:30, as you can see, we did have this large squeeze, kind of this descending triangle here with a triple bottom off VWAP. I did like this one, as you can see, getting a breakout right here out of this trend line, which lined up perfectly with Friday's highs. So I did like this for a slight move to the upside. Quick trade. I wasn't super convinced that this would be super bullish because, as you can see, these massive rejections in the price action in the morning when we got up to these levels. So I was just looking for a quick breakout scalp here. As you can see, then we did pull into that trend line before forming this ascending triangle here with a double top. Before getting a breakdown here, this could have been a decent opportunity for just a quick short back down to VWAP. But as you can see, right there at VWAP where it bounced and lined up with this previous downtrend line from this descending triangle, this could have been a decent opportunity for, if you were still holding this long, for an add, or to just, take profits obviously on your short if you traded this short to the downside, or just if you didn't because it was looking pretty bearish or bullish here. Could have been a nice opportunity to get long again. And as you can see here, we did have a bull pennant form at about 12:30 with a squeeze here. Obviously not the biggest move, but could have been a decent little scalp for a retest of the highs. Then as you can see here at about 1 o'clock, we did have a head and shoulders here with your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder, which is a bearish reversal pattern. As you see, breaking down through this neckline. Could have been a nice short here into resistance for a retest of this VWAP area. But as you can see, just breaking straight down through VWAP, coming down to the open. And then we did have another squeeze here at about getting close to 2 o'clock, but there wasn't really any good pattern here. And it was super bearish with upward momentum, so not the best trade here. But then as you can see, we did have a bear flag. As you see, your pull down here, your flag pattern getting rejected at VWAP with a squeeze to the downside. So this could have been a nice opportunity for a short here to take advantage of a bearish continuation pattern getting rejected at a significant level here for a test down here towards this significant line I have drawn, which is these previous highs here from Friday. Then as you can see, we kind of did have a descending triangle here. I didn't really like this one. It wasn't the best pattern, but as you can see, just the trend reversal here with a slight squeeze to the upside. Yeah, that was most of the patterns today. As you can see, a lot of wedges and triangles and flags today. We did have that one that one head and shoulders pattern here at 1 o'clock. So some pretty nice patterns today. Pretty wild market action, to be honest. Like the crazy price action in the morning. The strong push for new highs before getting that big sell-off here. But I'm sure, a lot of this sell-off came too with that Binance news because, the stock market and crypto markets are pretty related. And there can be definitely a lot of contagion that spreads too. So when you see significant volatility in one or the other, it tends to typically happen in the opposite asset as well. So yeah, low volume day to start the week. Just a pullback here. We are pretty overextended to the upside, as you see, running into this upper extreme on the weekly, and we are just above it here on the daily chart. But yeah, that should do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll talk to y'all later.